So what sells well on Mercari, right? Obviously that's an open-ended question. A lot of people, a lot of different items sell well for different people, right? But I'm gonna speak on my own anecdotal experience selling on Mercari on the platform, and I'm gonna go through about 10 to 12 examples here. I literally just randomly pulled them. So you can emulate certain things like this, or it might give you ideas to, research and sell on other platforms as well. I think that these videos, they're fun for me to create because it's kind of fun for me to kind of reminisce and be like, oh, that's sold, I forgot about that. Like, that's a good one. I might want to source that, something like that in the future, right? But it also helps beginners kind of see what tends to sell well on the platforms, and it also does help, believe it or not, intermediate and advanced people, because I think it's a good refresher, and honestly, I think it's kind of fun to watch other videos like this as well. Even me, like I like going out and watching what sells well for other people on YouTube as well, because I find that it's kind of fun to see like what's working for other sellers, so maybe I can take a little golden nugget there and implement it in my own reselling business. So with that being said, let's just jump into some of the examples, okay? And before we actually do, if you guys are interested, there's a free case study showing the top 6 ways that I source profitable inventory for free. I don't source them all for free. Some of them I actually do, believe it or not, but it is 100% free. You can check out the free case study down in the description. You can also grab the free cheat sheet, which shows over 100 different websites that I use to source. It gives you information on each one of those actual websites and kind of how you can implement it. And that free cheat is always linked in the description as well. And if you go to brianguerra.com/courses, you can find my Mercari course link there. If you want to scale your own Mercari business up and start making more on the platform, you can get all my secrets, all my tips, and more information, a lot like in this video, for I think $15.99. Some of the links on that actual page, it's pretty new, are $14.99 I believe, and some of them are $15.99. But regardless, it's a very, very cheap course, and I put that promotional link there for you. So first example is this retro Miami Dolphins sweater, and I sold this on the platform for $25 after the shipping fee, obviously, and after the selling fee. I ended up netting $17.51. And these retro kind of sweaters, or these retro flannels in NBA, in NFL, and NH, all these types of things have been selling very, very well. Vintage, retro, they all sell very, very quickly on every platform, but obviously especially Mercari in this case. This one was from a liquidation pallet. The other one, believe it or not, I actually sourced from a thrift store, and I rarely do that, but I did that on, I think it was like a month ago roughly. I just went kind of thrifting because I hadn't done it in a while, and I kind of missed out on the opportunity. It is fun every once in a while. I tend to and I also do retail arbitrage, but I rarely do that as well. What I like to do is I like to do online arbitrage and source a lot from my computer, but every once in a while I will go into the store, but that's very, very rare, okay? Now this example right here is a Red Wings long sleeve shirt. Sold this on the platform for $22, ended up netting $14.81 after the shipping and the selling fee on Poshmark, or on Mercari, excuse me. And this is from a liquidation pallet that I bought, and I got each one of these for about $1.15, I think, or it could have been like $1.05 or $1.30, but regardless, I obviously netted over 13 bucks on this, because if I bought a pallet of like 50 of these shirts, most of them have sold, but I'm already profitable on the pallet, obviously, because if I spent like 100 bucks on the pallet and then I sold a couple of items, I was already profitable. But this specific item right here, I made $14.81, but after you take out like the $1.20, I obviously netted like 13 something, okay? Same exact pallet, same liquidation pallet, so these obviously are selling well for me ever since we got back from quarantine, ever since we got back into sports, so NBA, NHL, MLB, NFL now, right? I'm stoked for that, obviously. But ever since we got, sports back, a lot of my sports kind of, I wanted to say memorabilia, but that's a lot of my sports gear and fan gear have been selling very, very, very well for me. And that's why you're seeing a lot of these in those current examples, okay? So this sold for 19 bucks. I ended up netting 12, 11, and obviously, like we said before, probably got this for like $1.20, so I probably ended up netting about 11 bucks on this. Same exact palette here. Here's a Flyers sweatshirt, right? So this is actually a kid's sweatshirt, and believe it or not, I sold this same exact sweatshirt like 3 different times. One time I sold it on Poshmark, and then I realized that it was a kid, and I sold it to like a grown man. He's like, dude, this is a kid's sweatshirt, like, so we sent it back, right? And then I sold it again on Mercari the first time. Completely forgot when I relisted it that it was a kid's sweatshirt, because I have so many things going on in my businesses that, like, I guess it slipped my mind, right? So I relisted it as men's. That person returned it, and I finally did sell it to an actual kid. So sold this for 15 bucks, ended up netting $8.51 on this sweatshirt, and obviously that's from the same liquidation palette. Here's a common trend here, right? So obviously liquidation is a phenomenal way to get inventory for Poshmark, for eBay, and for Mercari, okay? But you need to know what liquidation palettes to buy. Also, cashback arbitrage is a phenomenal way to get inventory, and profitable inventory at that, for Mercari or any of your other seller platforms, right? Or any of your online marketplaces. And same thing with coupon. Now, I have courses on every single one of these. Obviously, you can go to briangarrett.com/courses, and obviously you can find those specific courses on these actual topics, right? Or if you just want to check out some playlists for some free tutorials here and there, you can go to the playlist section on this channel, and you can see the coupon, the cashback, and the liquidation playlists, and get more insight of how I source these things and how you can probably emulate those things as well. But this one sold for $22. I made so much money on this palette. I also made money on the NBA palette. And they were gold mines, obviously, especially now that, you know, with everything back, they're selling very, very quickly because everyone wants that fan gear now because the sports are back, okay? Ended up netting $14.81 on that. Now, this was actually a cashback product that I got for free, so I spent, I think it was maybe like 20 bucks for this. I don't remember how much it cost. I ended up obviously buying it on a cashback website for 20 bucks, got my 20 bucks back, and then I was into this product for $0, right? That's cashback arbitrage. Or I might have ended up paying like $1 for PayPal fees, but that's not every single product. Sometimes they send it as friends and family, and you don't get hit with any PayPal fees, and it's 100% free. And other times they send it obviously as just like a business transaction, so you do get hit with like the PayPal fee that's like, I don't even know what percentage it is, but it's usually like $1 roughly. So this one ended up selling for 16 bucks. After fees on the platform, I ended up netting $9.41. This is another cashback product, right? I believe the same website. I think it was Extreme Rebate, but I'm not sure. It might have been Rebate Key, but there's a number of cashback websites. Like I said, the free cheat sheet with all the sites is linked down in the description if you want to check it out. These I got for free or $1 on the cashback website. Again, ended up selling them for 15 bucks on the platform. Ended up netting $8.90. After all the seller fees. This, I believe, was another cashback. It might have been a coupon product, but I'm not positive. This one actually has been sitting in my inventory for a couple months and it finally sold. So I believe it was cashback, but it might have also been coupon. But regardless, I know how I source items and kind of how I perceive them. So I either got this for free or for that $1 on the PayPal fee on a cashback website, or I might have spent like a couple bucks, like maybe like $1 to $3 on this if it was a coupon website. And like I said, if you're interested in understanding more about cashback or coupon because you don't know what I'm talking about, or liquidation and how to source, you can either check out the case study or the playlists on this channel are 100% free resources that you can learn from, and then you can go out and source products a lot like this, okay? And if you appreciate the value that I'm obviously giving out there for free, please give this video a thumbs up. Obviously, I appreciate it and lets me know that you guys like these videos. And also on top of that, it does a lot more than you actually think to help this video rank in the algorithm and search results on YouTube so that other people can also benefit off this information as well. So this one I sold for 15 bucks, ended up netting $10.51 profit after fees. This one was, believe it or not, this one was actually something, I don't know, this one I didn't source, okay? I actually sourced this for my business to use on the go, like plug this lavalier microphone into my computer, but it just shows you I didn't vet any of these products. I literally just randomly pulled a few snapshots from like the last week of different products that I've sold to give you examples, but this one was actually something I bought for my business, and then I ended up not needing it because I have like literally 10 different microphones, and I don't really travel that much, and I don't really record when I do travel, but for some reason I just kind of wanted to get it as a backup. But so this one I ended up selling for 15 bucks, ended up netting $10.51 on this. And believe it or not, this kind of held its value because I think I bought this one for like 15 to 20 bucks on Amazon. But like I said, I didn't source this on cashback, liquidation, or coupon. This is something I actually just bought for my business and I paid $20 for. So obviously I lost $9 on this, okay? Random example, I don't know why I threw that in there, but I didn't set this up. This one, I actually have a number of these. I still have like 20 of these. I bought like 100 of these on a coupon website a long time ago, and they've just been slowly selling and just kind of like trickling me in cash flow. It's kind of funny. So one of these baby monthly milestone stickers, I got these on a coupon website. I don't know if I said that. I got a bunch of them. I sold them for 17 bucks, ended up netting $12.31 after PayPal fees. Now this was another coupon product. I think I got this one on JumpSend maybe, I'm not sure. But I ended up selling this for 17 bucks, ended up netting $11.05 after fees. And I probably spent anywhere from like $1 to $3 to get this one right here. So that kind of wraps up all the examples of different things that have been selling well for me. A lot of cashback products, a lot of coupon products, and a lot of liquidation specifically around sports teams now that obviously quarantine is over and we're back into sports. A lot of people have been buying them up like hotcakes, but ultimately any profitable product is a good product if you can knock down the sourcing, right? There's two ways to approach it, right? You either want to look at like, okay, what's the demand and then fill it with supply. That's one way to do it. Or source a lot of profitable inventory that's very, very cheap but high quality via liquidation, via cashback, or via coupon, and then list it all. And then slowly let that sell. And the more that you obviously can acquire very, very cheaply, but obviously quality inventory, but the key there is quality, right? The more that you can acquire, the more you'll sell, the more profit that you'll make, and obviously the higher you can scale your business faster. So I really hope that that helped, guys. Those are the things that have been selling well for me. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments section down below. I would love to answer them for you. Remember, please give this video a thumbs up. It really means a lot to me, and it really does help a lot more than you think. Even just you liking this video helps the algorithm obviously rank it a lot higher. And with that being said, I'll see you in the next one. Today we're going to cover exactly what sold on Poshmark and what sold on Mercari for me last month. Now, I'm not going to cover everything because we'd be here for a while just listing every single thing that sold, but I'll cover about 10 different examples from each platform, what I actually sold, how much I made profit-wise, so you can get a better understanding of exactly what to potentially look for when you're sourcing, whether that's cashback, coupon, liquidation, or whatever your sourcing method is for these specific platforms, okay? Now, I don't have my camera today, so I'm just filming with my phone, and I wanted to kind of do it. I was thinking about like, oh, I'll go get my camera, or I'll wait till later, but no, screw that. I'm always telling students, go out, take action. You don't need to, just bet on yourself. You don't need everything perfect, so instead of waiting to get my camera today, I just figured, what the hell, I'm gonna record from my phone and give you some value. So, like I said, we're gonna cover all these things here, exactly what's sold. I'll pop pictures of them and the actual proof of the profit up on the screen. All these sold last month for me on both Poshmark and Mercari, and more importantly, they were all cashback or coupon products, okay? So usually I've been getting a lot more into liquidation. A lot of the stuff that's behind me, especially over in those bins as well, that's like new that I haven't listed yet, is liquidation arbitrage stuff. But these specifically, all 20 of these examples, so 10 for Poshmark and 10 for Mercari, are all cashback or coupon products, meaning I pretty much got them for free. If I did spend money on them, if it was a coupon code, or if I didn't get the exact cash back on the cashback sites, it was never more than $2. Usually it's like 50 cents to like $1 to $1.50 max. But a lot of these I actually get for free, believe it or not. Some of them I actually get more cash back because the seller refunds me wrong, okay? So keep that in mind. If we average it out, it might be like 50 cents to $1 per product. So all these are 100% profitable. I'm not special. You can do this as well, and it's super low risk. First one is a bamboo charcoal air purifying odor bag, okay? And I think it was a pack of odor bags, sold for 17 bucks. After the fees, I ended up netting $13.60. I think I got this was a cashback product, and I might have spent, I don't know, $1 maybe if I didn't get the full cashback back. I haven't checked. So very profitable, super easy to list, sold pretty fast, and didn't have to wait on that one. The next thing that sold was an off-shoulder sleeveless romper for women. And that sold for $12, and after the fees, I ended up netting $9.05 on that. Same thing with this. This was a cashback product. I either got it for free or maybe like $1 if they didn't refund me the initial cashback. Now, keep in mind with all these products, this sold for 12 bucks, like I said, right? I'm not listing this for 12 bucks initially. I'm listing this for 20 or maybe 25 or even 30, right? I'm listing high. That is my strategy. I tell you everybody to do that. List high. Depending on the platform, you want to accumulate interest. So list high, accumulate interest, then slowly make offers and drop the price down so you can simulate urgency when you're dropping the price for a sale if it's a timed sale, and you can simulate value in the listing because they're assuming that, okay, there's urgency now in the sale price or in the sale that you're doing, whether it's a promotion or you're making an offer to a liker that's timed, and then you simulate the value as well because they believe that the listing price is maybe 25 or 30, but they're getting an opportunity to purchase it at 12 bucks, for example, in the next 2 to 3 days or 24 hours. So they need to act fast, right? So that's my strategy with all these. List high, accumulate interest, whatever platform that is. Obviously, there's a different strategy for each. And then once you make offers and simulate urgency and value, you will make more sales. So the next one on Poshmark is a women's lingerie lace nightgown sleepwear. So this sold for 10 bucks. After fees, I ended up netting 705. I sold like 10 of these. This was a great one. I got it on a coupon site, bought 10 of them, and I think all 10 sold. I might have one more back there. I'm not actually sure. But a lot of them sold, and they sold fast. This was a high in-demand product. I sold two of these, two examples of this on Mercari as well that I'm going to show you here in a second. Next one was an engraving wood set, so wood carving set, sold for 20 bucks on Poshmark. After fees, I netted 16 bucks, okay? Now, people always ask me too, can you only sell clothing on Poshmark? And while clothing sells very well on Poshmark, is probably what you should go after to sell on Poshmark, clothing, shoes, anything like that. You can sell other stuff now with the new home categories, so keep that in mind. Test it out for yourselves. I pretty much list everything because I cross-promote, or I cross-list with List Perfectly. So if you can list it on multiple platforms, you might as well, just to get it more exposure and get a potential sale on another platform, right? You might as well, okay? So that's exactly what I did. Listed this in the home category, so it's not closed, but it did sell on Poshmark, made 16 bucks on it. So the next one's a floral ruffle sleeveless V-neck dress. Sold for $13 on Poshmark after fees, and it looks like I made a promotion, so this was a closet clear out. I only netted $326, but hey, $326 is profit, and usually what I do, because I sell more during closet clear outs on Poshmark than I do the rest of the entirety of the month, so if there's like 2 or 3 closet clear outs, the sales that I get in those 2-3 days, right, from making offers like this, ends up being more most likely on most months than the entirety of the rest of the month, okay? So very valuable tool. Use closet clear outs to your advantage. So I only netted $326 on this, but because I got it for free or very, very cheap, I was still profitable. This is another cashback product. Ended up selling it for 15 bucks. It's a floral mini print, basically same dress as the last one pretty much. Ended up netting, it looks like I also sold this during closet clear out because you can see the shipping discount that I offered, so I offered free shipping and a little bit of a discount on the price. So while they paid 15, what I probably did, like I said before, listed it at like 25 or 30, dropped the price down as an offer and offered free shipping. They bought it up, thought it was a great deal, obviously. I win, they win, we all win, okay? I netted $521 profit on this sale. Next one's a diaper bag, sold for 15 bucks. Another closet clear out example. You get the picture. You're starting to see a trend here. Ended up netting $521 after the offer and the Poshmark fees. So next one's a meal prep container. This was also a gold mine. I sold a lot of these on Mercari, but I don't believe I used that as an example. Sold a lot last month on Mercari, and like 4 or 5 months ago when I actually got the same exact product, I got like 10 of them like 4 or 5 months ago. Only sold 3 of them this time, but they sold well. So if you see this, or if you see that other like blue lingerie thing or whatever it was, buy them because they're gold mines. They flip super fast, okay? Another closet clear out example right here. So 14 bucks after all the fees and the closet clear out price. I ended up netting $426, okay? And that's like a free $4 or a free $3 potentially if I ended up spending $1 on that, right? After cashback or for the coupon code, because it's super low risk. You're barely spending any money. You're just spending the time initially to list on these platforms, okay? And you can do this and scale this up super, super easy, guys. This is real. Test it out for yourselves. You will see that it works for you. Now, this one is an example of something that didn't sell very well. I did a bad job of sourcing this, so I thought initially when I sourced this, and I wanted to add this in there just to kind of show you that everything's not profitable, everything's not sunshine and rainbows. I actually sourced these Nike kids shoes thinking, wow, I scored big. I got them for like 25 bucks like a shoe. Ended up, this is the last one that I actually had, thank God. But I was sitting on these for, I don't know, 6 to 8 months maybe. Thought Nikes flip super fast, but I didn't factor in the sizing of this, and that now I guess a lot of parents don't necessarily buy high-priced Nikes for their kids. So I was just trying to get rid of this dead stock, ended up selling for 15 bucks. Thank God, I'm glad it's out of my inventory and I don't have to worry about it anymore. I'll take whatever profit I can get on this. Ended up only netting $10.20 on this shoe. So obviously if I purchased it for 25, I lost 15 bucks, okay? This is the only example of one that's not cashback and coupon. But I wanted to give you an example just because people are always like, hey, I lost money on this one, or I didn't make money on all my products. And that happens to me too. Obviously, the majority of ones, if you're doing liquidation, cashback, or coupon, are super low risk. So if you happen to lose money, you're losing like 10 or 15 cents or 25 cents or whatever it is, right? Not a big deal. Although if you are buying shoes like this or high-priced items,
and that happens, it's okay. In the grand scheme of things, in the overall data, you will make a lot of money, especially if you're going after low risk products like coupon, cashback, and liquidation, okay? So not all sunshine and rainbows, wanted to use that as an example. Next one is I think a kid's sun protective hat. Had like 10 of these as well, and they also sold very slow, but I think I still have like 5 more. So 16 bucks is what it sold for, ended up netting $12.80. So these are all examples of things that sold on Poshmark. Now we're gonna move on to some examples of things that sold on Mercari, and you can see examples of those as well. So moving on to Mercari now, I sold a boom pole right here, and the price that I sold it for was 13 bucks. Obviously I offer free shipping, so I ended up losing $5 on that profit margin from shipping. The selling fee was $130, so I ended up netting $671 on this boom pole. And I think I got this on a cashback or a coupon site for like, I might have been free obviously, but if I paid something, it was like $1, okay? So you get the picture. As you scale this, there's so much profit to be made for practically no risk. I'm telling you guys, take a chance, bet on yourself. You don't have to scale it up fully initially, just test it out. You will see that it works for you, and that will give you some excess cash flow, whether you need a couple hundred or you want to scale it up to a full-time business. There's a ridiculous opportunity, and this e-commerce reselling stuff is real. Next one that I sold was a Stroller Mosquito net. I think this one sold yesterday actually, or like 2 days ago. Ended up selling it for 10 bucks, ended up netting $601 on this Mosquito net for a baby stroller. These were socks. These actually sold very well too. I sold 3 pairs of these like that as soon as I listed them. Sold them for 12 bucks. Maybe it's a popular brand. I've never heard of Life is Good before, but it sold pretty quickly. Ended up netting $781 on Mercari after fees. Next one, 2 examples again of this women's lingerie lace nightgown thing. Ended up selling this for 16 bucks on Mercari. Ended up netting $11.41 on this one. Same thing, ended up selling this one on for 13 bucks and ended up netting $8.71. So another question that people ask me on Mercari is like, how do you sell replenishables? So obviously with like eBay and Poshmark, it's easy to sell replenishables because you can increase the quantity. One of the drawbacks of listing on Mercari is it's very difficult for replenishables because you have to continually list them over and over and over again. You can't list multiples of the same thing, right? And also, you don't want to list the same thing twice. So if I had multiples of this, I'm not going to list it back to back because then it's going to kill the visibility of one of them. So what I'm trying to say is if you have 10 of these, for example, you need to list them one at a time on Mercari, but as they sell. So list one, wait for it to sell. Then list the other one, then wait for it to sell. Now, I use an inventory tracking system like I've talked about before, and I track that inventory with Poshmark. So I literally look at my Poshmark listing, and I'll be like, oh, I have 7 more of these. I can list another one on Mercari. Mercari sells super, super well, and it's a great platform, but it is, they definitely need to introduce a replenishables feature and a quantity feature on their platform. Right now, it's annoying. Still a great place to sell, though. Keep that in mind, okay? Next one that I sold was I guess a spacecraft belt or something like that. This one sold super quick as well, 25 bucks, and I ended up netting $18.25 on this. I got this for free. So the maternity belt right here sold for 20 bucks, ended up netting $13.01. The resistance bands right here sold for 15 bucks, ended up netting $10.51. The bride-to-be Bachelorette party decorations, these also flip fast both on Poshmark, Mercari, and eBay as well. Sold these for 18 bucks, ended up netting $11.95. Bachelorette party decorations, anything like that, they all sell super quickly in my experience. Here's another example of a floral dress. Ended up selling this one for 21 bucks, ended up netting $15.91. So that's examples of 10 things that sold on Poshmark, 10 things that sold on Mercari. I hope it helps you out.
So today we're going to cover what sells well on Poshmark, and I'm going to give you about 14 examples. It was supposed to be 10, but I pulled 14, and just kind of estimated. So 14 examples of what has sold for me recently, and all of these things are examples of items that do tend to sell well, kind of like that niche or that kind of, item type, right, that sells well for me, because obviously if you can understand demand, then you can kind of fill it with supply, right? And that's the easiest way to go about selling online in general. Now, this is going to be good for beginner sellers to kind of see exactly what sells well on the platform so that you can go out and kind of emulate things like this or source inventory like this. And it's also going to be great for intermediate sellers to figure out, kind of use it as a checklist, a refresher, and honestly, I think it's kind of fun to watch these. I enjoy watching videos like this from other sellers and other YouTubers because it's always kind of fun to see what sells well for them, okay? So let's hop into the examples. The first example is from a liquidation palette, and I've talked about this in some of my other what sold videos. I'll try to drop some of those what sold videos, and I did, I think, combinations of Poshmark and Mercari, but I've been selling this liquidation palette that I sourced for like a couple hundred, I think it was like 150, 115 rough, like anywhere in like the 110s to 150s amount of items in this palette, and it was all just NBA stuff and NBA gear, right? And I literally got these for like I think $1 something an item, so I have made my money back on this palette. I was gonna say tenfold, but it's probably like 100x. So I don't remember exactly what I sold, but if you watch what I bought that liquidation palette for, but it's probably a couple $100 all together with all the items. And I think I've probably made, you know, easily over $1,000. I haven't tallied it all up, and I used to obviously keep track of it with like an Excel spreadsheet, but I don't necessarily do that anymore. Now that I just know that I've been profitable for so long, I threw that spreadsheet out. I just deleted it because now I know that anything that I sell with NBA gear is just 100% profit, and I've covered my bases so many times, okay? So this sold for $52. It's a retro NBA Seattle Supersonics sweatshirt, and you're gonna see a common trend here in a lot of these items. I sold it for $52, Poshmark took $10.40, and I netted $41.60 on this item. The next one is yet another NBA sweatshirt from that, this time Denver Nuggets, from that same liquidation palette, okay? And I sourced these liquidation palettes from 888 lots. I have countless tutorials on how to actually source from 888 lots. If you're interested, I will try to drop one or two. I've done like 5 of them. I'll drop 1 or 2 of those down at the bottom of the description as well if you want to check them out, okay? This sold for $36. I ended up netting $28.80 after Poshmark took $7.20. Next is the NBA, so another Denver Nuggets, this time like a long sleeved thermal shirt. And you can kind of see a common trend here. Believe it or not, obviously with everything going on in the world, the NBA wasn't kind of going on, right? And so I wasn't selling a lot of these because there wasn't a lot of reasons for fans to buy NBA gear to go take to the games or sport, right? But now with the NBA back, now that we're in the playoffs currently and the NBA is finally back in full swing, a lot of these are going, and they're going like hotcakes because I have all the inventory, and now I have the supply, but now the demand is up here relative to down here, right? So I kind of anticipated that. Obviously, when I see good items, especially liquidation, and I know that there's value there, even if I know they're not going to sell within like a week or a month, right? I'm willing to wait on them because liquidation, as I always say, and this is true for cashback, this is true for coupon, okay? And if you don't know what these business models are, there's playlists on this channel that explain what they are, how to source them, and different websites that you can source them from, okay? But the name of the game with anything like that, when you're reselling and you're doing your own fulfillment, whether that's Amazon, even though I don't really do that, just with a little bit of books, or that's eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, the name of the game is just stacking up and building quality inventory, because the more inventory you have, obviously, then the more potential profit you can make, because the more potential sales you're potentially going to get, so potential a lot there, you know, that day, that week, that month, right? So it's just, the name of the game is about stacking quality inventory. You know, you don't need to necessarily get an ROI immediately if that's your main goal, okay? But obviously it's going to depend on the way that you're going to approach it. That's just the way that works for me and the way that I recommend to most people, okay? So this sold for $28. Not, like I said, another NBA kind of, you know, what's the, not memorabilia, what's the word I'm looking for here? NBA gear. There you go. So I made $22.40 on this after Poshmark took $5.60. Yet another one, right? And all of these sold recently. I believe I took all of these from one, like the past like the past like week and a half, because the past roughly 4 or 5 days I was on vacation. So realistically, it was from like, you know, 5 days ago and up to like 10 to 12 days ago potentially is when all of these example items sold. And I obviously sold other items in here, but I wanted to give you examples of some good ones, some, you know, kind of things that I sourced that, you know, weren't necessarily as good or high profit as I expected, but obviously these liquidation palette items are, okay? So right here, this is yet again another NBA sweatshirt, sold for $44, and I ended up netting $35 after Poshmark took $8.80, okay? So all of these are examples of clothing items that didn't sell immediately for me, but I got in a very cheap liquidation palette, and then was able to flip for a profit over a couple months, right? It didn't happen immediately. Some of them sold immediately, and I honestly made my money back on that pallet, I think within, I honestly don't remember, but I think it was within a month or two. And now it's been like 3, maybe 4 months. And I've, like I said, I've netted over probably $1,000. I don't even remember. This is an example of an item that I didn't make money on, okay? Now you'll see that you'll be like, what? You didn't make money on it. Your earnings are $3.94 after selling it for $14. But I actually sourced this for about 20 bucks. I sourced this online for about 20 bucks. I got a great deal on it. It was a Banana Republic cardigan sweater, and I actually bought this on Poshmark, believe it or not, because I knew Banana Republic. I wear that brand from time to time. I have some Banana Republic sweaters. And I honestly thought that this would sell for a lot more, but I held on to this for, and this is used, so I bought this on Poshmark from somebody else because they were selling it so cheap, and I think I bought it, like I said, for 20 bucks. I was like, I can easily flip that for like 60 to 80 bucks potentially. I think I bought a new one recently for like 100, maybe I think it was like 100 bucks in the store. So I was like, oh, that's profit margin right there if I buy that for 20. Well, it didn't, there was like no demand on the platform. So this is an example of a bad product that I sourced. Like I said, I bought it on Poshmark, tried to resell it on Poshmark, eBay, and Mercari, and couldn't flip it. So eventually I just made a deal. I kept making offers to get this out of my inventory because I am limited in space. I only currently have these bins behind me, bins over there, and some boxes back there. So I am running out of space. So I either need to scale up potentially with like, a garage, or scale up with a warehouse potentially. Not right now, because a lot of the time I'm focusing on like FBA and more scalable business models with Amazon. But that said, it is something that I plan to do and plan to explore in the future. Or even, maybe get like a storage unit or something like that to store more inventory, okay? So I sold this for $14. Poshmark took $2.95. You can see that I made an offer here, which is the less your shipping discount. I made, I think it was a closet clear out deal. And then I ended up netting profit margin on this sale, $3.94, but like I said, I sourced it for 20 bucks, so I was probably out roughly $16. So this was an example of a bad buy. This is an example of a good buy on another liquidation pallet, okay? So I've talked about this in other videos as well, in what sold videos. I bought a bunch of shoes and a bunch of like kind of moccasins, sandals, and stuff for, like beachwear. So a lot of those sold like in the beginning of summer, even though people weren't really able to go out because of everything going on, obviously. So this was still a good example of a buy. I don't know why somebody bought this at the end of summer, but maybe they live in, a warm climate year round. Or maybe they were going on a vacation or something like that. So these Bruno Mars sandals sold for $48. After Poshmark took $9.60, I ended up netting $38.40. Another example from the same exact pallet that, I believe this might have even been the same buyer. Doesn't look like I took the snapshot of who bought it, but I think the same buyer bought like 2 or 3 pairs of my shoes. So it was roughly, maybe this wasn't the one because it's size 10 and size 8. So it might have been something else, but there was the same buyer that came in and bought like 3 different items, and I ended up making offers to those, and they ended up selling. So these sold for $31. After Poshmark took $6.20, I ended up netting $24.80. This is yet another example of something that I didn't make money on. And this is another used product that I actually sourced. I don't know if this one was from eBay, but I believe that this was either on eBay, Poshmark, or Mercari that I sourced this one. I honestly can't remember because I sourced it like 6 months ago, roughly. But it was a used Ralph Lauren polo kind of V-neck shirt, and I thought that I think I ended up sourcing this for like under $10. I don't remember what the exact thing was, and I think it was eBay if I'm taking a guess here, but ended up selling it for $15. And obviously, after you can see, I ended up doing the same exact thing as the cardigan, just trying to get it out of my inventory to clear up space to get other better inventory that's going to be more profitable for me, that obviously is in demand and will flip faster than this. So I ended up netting about $5, $4.89 after selling this on Poshmark and making a deal. But like I said, I sourced this for like 10 bucks, I think, on eBay like 6 months ago. So obviously I lost money on this. And this highlights obviously the importance. And I do this for most things, not all things, but I do this. So track everything. I always recommend, even if you're doing cashback, even if you're doing coupon, even if you're doing liquidation, track everything. Put it in a spreadsheet, right? Where did you source it from? What is it? What did you pay for it, right? And then what platform did you sell it on? What were the fees and what were the profit, right? Because when you do that, you might think that that's overkill, and you might be like, that's stupid. Why would I spend time doing that? It sounds like a headache. It sounds like a lot of work. But you don't need to do it forever, right? But what you track, you can improve. So what if you track in the beginning, obviously you'll start to see what sells best for you, what's selling quickly, what types of items, right? What you sourced it for, so how you can get your inventory, quality inventory and cheap inventory that you can obviously resell, or it doesn't even have to be cheap, right? But if it's quality and it's selling well, and what you're making the most money on. Seeing all that data in a spreadsheet is really gonna kind of help you emulate those things, source more inventory like that, and scale your business and make more money, right? So this is another example. This is from an NHL liquidation palette. So you can see that I kind of went in the sports direction here. Same as the NBA. I think I sourced this like a month or so after the NBA one. And a lot of these, believe it or not, didn't sell well, but again, now or sell like fast. I think I sold a couple of them, but now obviously with the NHL back, yes, they're selling well again. So this is an Islanders long sleeve shirt, which obviously the Islanders beat my Flyers in Game 7. Didn't really like that, but one of the New York Islanders fans probably bought this, and I ended up selling this for $20. And after Poshmark took $4, I ended up netting $16 on that. Again, this was like the same thing as the other, as the NBA one. So I think I sourced these for like $1.10, $1.15 per unit, whatever that ended up being and whatever that came out to. All right, so the next one here is another one from that same palette. This is a Bruins long sleeve shirt this time. So this sold for $22, and after Poshmark took their fees, and it looks like I made a closet clear out discount or closet clear out offer on this, which is what the less your shipping discount is for 7-Eleven, I ended up netting $10.49. So again, that's still like a $9 profit margin overall, because like I said, I sourced these for like $1 something per item in that palette. Now this is an example of something that I sourced cashback wise. I believe this was on Extreme Rebate, but I don't remember the exact site that I sourced it from. There's a bunch of cashback sites that I recommend. And if you guys want examples of liquidation sites, examples of cashback sites, examples of coupon sites, and examples of other sites that I actually source from, and it's probably like 100 or so now sites in my actual site list cheat sheet. The site list cheat sheet is always linked 100% free in the description. You can go there, check those sites out, and start sourcing for yourself quality inventory from the exact places that I source from as well, okay? So I sold this for $20. Like I said, I bought this on a cashback site, so I think I got this for free, because usually I either get it for free or like $1 or $2 minus like the PayPal fees. If there are PayPal fees, there aren't always PayPal fees on each item. I'm not going to get too into cashback here, obviously, because I do that in depth in a lot of the cashback tutorials on this actual channel. If you're interested, go to the playlists, go to cashback arbitrage, check them all out, okay? So sold this for $20, ended up netting $16 after Poshmark took $4. Again, from that same shoe palette, okay? So I sold these Bruno Mars driving loafers for $18, ended up netting $14.40 after Poshmark took $3.60. And again, with that same, you're seeing a common trend here, right? Once, kind of you get into that area, right? Once the NBA came back, boom, all my inventory started selling like hotcakes, right? So source with those things in mind, right? It's the same type of thing when you're sourcing on like Amazon, for example, and you source like a Star Wars item with a new Star Wars movie coming out, right? Or something like that. Obviously, that's not the only way that you want to judge demand and the only way that you want to potentially source inventory, but it definitely is a big factor in that when obviously you're sourcing, right? So you just need to keep those types of things in mind. It's not the be all end all. You obviously don't need to, but it's just another potential tool that you can use to source good inventory, okay? So again, this one sold for $28. After Poshmark took $5.60, I ended up netting $22.40. From the same palette, $40 this one sold for. This one's actually a retro one, so Seattle Supersonics aren't even around anymore. Sold this for $40, ended up netting $32 after Poshmark took $8. And that, guys, ladies and gentlemen, is exactly what sells well for me and has been selling well for me recently, okay? You can see examples of NBA items there from the same liquidation palette. You can see examples of NHL items now, obviously from the same liquidation palette, different liquidation palettes there, but same in those actual, obviously NBA and NHL. As soon as those came back, literally my inventory started going quickly like that, and for high profit margins like you saw. And I didn't really need to do much of anything except, automatically share. If you guys need to know how to scale your closet by automatically sharing, check out the video up in the right-hand corner right now. It will show you how to use a Google Chrome plugin to not fully automate, but 90 to 95% automate your closet, so you don't have to spend every single day, every single hour of every day sharing all your items and, wasting your life away, the Google Chrome plugin will do it for you. And that's exactly what I do to make good money on the platform, scale my closet. And it's worked very, very well for me, okay? And it also works very, very well for my students. So that's examples of things. Again, the loafers and all those shoes, examples from that palette. And the other ways that I source a lot of inventory to resell by myself when I'm doing my own fulfillment is either liquidation, it's cashback, or it's coupon arbitrage, okay? So there's playlists on all those. I will link those playlists down in the description as well. There's a lot of videos linked in the description. But as always, if you want to see more examples of how I source and how you can emulate obviously exactly what I'm doing to make money from your own home reselling products just like this, there is a free case study down in the description that will show you 6 different ways, not just one. It will show you what that business model is, right? How I do it. It will talk about the sites that I actually do it from, and it will show you examples, a lot more examples of products that I've actually bought from, right? So you'll see exactly what I bought them from and exactly what I sold them from and what my net profit margin was. So check out the free case study if you want to grab the free cheat sheet down in the description. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Here I am, I'm about to fulfill a bunch of orders. I got a bunch of orders today here, probably about 8 to 10 of them here. Some of them are Poshmark, some of them are Mercari, and some of them are Amazon FBM. So if I fulfill like a used book or two here and there, because it's cheap, free inventory a lot of times with used books, and I'm going after maximum approval. Now, I don't recommend that for the majority of people because it does waste a lot of my time, and sometimes I even lose money on those used books. But obviously all the Poshmark and the Mercari orders, I make money on doing cashback, coupon, or liquidation arbitrage, okay? So I'm about to fulfill these orders, but I thought it would be a good opportunity to kind of go through and talk about another what sold video. So I didn't set this up. I literally just picked off 10 Poshmark orders from the most recent and 10 Mercari orders from the most recent, okay? So these probably all sold within the past week or so, roughly. I'll go through exactly what sold, how I went about acquiring the inventory, right? So like what business model, and if I can remember the site specifically, remember I haven't set this up, so I'll just give you, hey, this is what sold, this is what I sold it for, this is the profit I made, this is where I sold it, right? And if I can remember, this is how I sourced it, right? Because they're fairly recent, I feel like I'll remember where I kind of sourced them, if not the website, the specific business model, okay? So I really hope this helps a lot of you. I hope it inspires a lot of you as well. And while my, Poshmark and Mercari sales aren't all the way up like some people's, they are relatively high. So you can take this as inspiration or take this as insight that, this is what works for me. So maybe you can replicate a lot of these things or source similar things for your own reselling business, okay? So let's just jump into it. I'm not gonna kind of beat around the bush. The first thing that's sold right here, I'll pop pictures of these up on the screen as we talk about them so you can kind of see exactly what I'm talking about. The picture of the profit proof, right? Because a lot of people can say, hey, I sold this, but I don't really want to just be like, hey, I sold all these things and this is what I made. I want to show you the exact proof, okay? So first ones are Bruno Marc gray penny loafers. Now, I actually got lowball offers on about 5 to 10 of these, and I was kind of holding off on accepting them because they're worth a lot more. I ended up getting a lot of these shoes in a liquidation palette. I know I've talked about it in previous videos. I've been sourcing a lot of shoes lately because, in my opinion, you can get them relatively cheap if you source them correctly. They're brands, so you don't have to manufacture the demand for them already, so they sell well, and they're worth a lot more than you pay if, big if here, if you can be patient. Now, you're gonna have to be spending a lot more on liquidation pallets of shoes than you would with like cashback or coupon, so you have to spend and then be patient, but if you can spend and be patient and list high, then obviously you can make a good ROI if you're willing to be patient. That might be a couple weeks, that might be a couple months, but eventually you will make your money back and then more if you source good products. So these Bruno Marc shoes are penny loafers. I got lowball offers on a lot of these and I just decided to accept them. A, because I need to clear out a bunch of inventory. I got these behind me. I got a bunch of bins over there, but I'm running out of space. So if I acquire much more inventory, I'm gonna need to potentially move into like a storage space or a storage locker. So I do need to kind of turn over some of my stuff here so I can acquire more space for my inventory. On these, I accepted a lowball offer. They were probably worth like 40 or 50 bucks at least. I took an offer on 17, and then after fees, I ended up netting $13.60, okay? The next ones are another example of Bruno Marc penny loafers. Same exact guy lowballed me on all of these, but like I said, I decided to just accept it. I'm still profitable on these. I think I sourced each one for like $6 or $7 in the entirety of the pallet. So clearly still made $6 or $7 on them, depending on what I actually, what specifically the offer was on those shoes. I think I only pulled up 2 examples of these shoes that I sold, but they were lowball offers. So these are $15, sold them for $15, obviously. Netted $12 after fees on those. Now the next one is a bundle, and this one, these reusable emergency blankets, the 5-packs, have been selling like candy for me. I sourced 10 of them. I think I sourced them from a coupon site. I don't remember what the coupon site was. Obviously, that's how I went about acquiring 10 of them. I think it was it might have been JumpSend, honestly, or it was Vipon or SnagShout. Might have been Uber Zon Club as well. I don't remember what it was specifically. Look for those blankets on there. They are a gold mine. They've been flipping fast on Poshmark. They've been flipping fast on Mercari, and a lot of them sell relatively well as well, although this one is a bundle, and I think I sold it during a closet clear out as well, if I'm not mistaken, although I don't see that specifically here, so maybe not on the actual Poshmark fees. So I sold the blankets in the bundle for $7. I sold the doggy dental tug of war toy for $12. Ended up netting $11.30 on the bundle after fees, okay? And I had 2 more examples on Poshmark of those, but I sold like 10 of those within the past week or so. They've been flipping like freaking candy, okay? Next thing I sold on Poshmark was a modern decorative ceramic pot planter, sold it for $12. Ended up netting $9.05. The next sale on Poshmark is a bundle, actually, so it's a bundle of 3 different things. I ended up making a free shipping offer and lowered the price a little bit to drive a sale. It's one of my best strategies, right? List high, acquire likes, and obviously interest, regardless of the platform, and then whatever the platform, either promoted on Mercari, make offers on eBay, or make offers on Poshmark, or during closet clearouts, you can obviously drop your price as well. But put simply, list high. Be patient, accumulate offers and interest, or accumulate interest and likes, and then obviously make offers so it looks like there's a perceived value there and they're getting it at a discount, even if that's not the case. So this bundle, I sold the socks in the bundle for $7. I sold the waterproof, or these were the retail value, I had them listed super low because they were from an old liquidation pallet, so I'm just trying to turn the socks over. Socks were worth $7. The backpack is actually something I also sold on Mercari. I had a number of these backpacks because, believe it or not, they were an old private label product. If I can actually pull up a bigger picture of the backpack on the screen, a failed private label product, mind you. They were like a waterproof cooler backpack, so I actually still have a bunch of them over there. I'm still listing them. I'm probably going to keep 1 or 2 for the summer because I used them last summer as well. But there is demand for them, so I'm selling them off to make a little bit extra cash flow, okay? So the cooler was retailed at $27 on Poshmark. The 5 pairs of women's shoes were retailed at $22. The person ended up bundling them together, and as soon as I saw that, I made them an offer on the bundle for free shipping and a price of $25, okay? So the bundle as a whole sold for $25, ended up netting, obviously, after I gave them the free shipping discount, I ended up netting $12.89 on the bundle, but keep in mind that the 5-pair women's socks I sourced, I think coupon or cashback, so I got it very, very cheap or free. The Life is Good I got for like $1 or like 50 cents in a liquidation pallet like a year and a half ago, and the waterproof backpack cooler was something that I sourced like 2 years ago for private label, so it's just been sitting dead inventory over there, so it's free cash as well because obviously I've just written that off as a loss in the past, okay? So $12.89 on that bundle right there. The next one right here is a Denver Nuggets NBA sweatshirt. Now, this sold for $45, ended up netting $36 after fees. Now, this is from a liquidation pallet. This and a number of other things that I bought was from a liquidation pallet that I bought on 888 Lots, right? So this inventory is super, super terrible in my opinion, right? So it's all about kind of testing certain things out to see what works for you and then replicating more of that process, right? Because I knew that this stuff was terrible, because a lot of the logos on all of these sweatshirts, and you'll see other examples when we cover them specifically in the Mercari part, right? The logos are old. A lot of them are like retro clothing. For example, like the New Orleans Jazz, that basketball team as an NBA team is an old team. It doesn't exist anymore, right? New Orleans Pelicans is the team right now, and Utah Jazz, right? But apparently the Jazz moved from New Orleans to Utah, so it's an old retro hoodie. This one is not specifically. But knowing that, you can sell it as a retro hoodie. So what I'm trying to say is all this inventory is terrible inventory. It's just taking up space here. But because you can list it super high and be patient, like I always say, it's been selling fairly frequently, maybe about one of those specific sweatshirts or cover-ups or whatever they're called, because there's a bunch of different things, have been selling probably one every couple days, and they've been selling for like 35 or 45 or 55 or 65 bucks during a sale, right? Now, for this specific palette, I paid $50. $50 for the entirety of the palette. I made an offer on 888 Lots. The palette was listed. It was like 3 different boxes. It was listed for a retail value of like 85 together, which is also super cheap. I decided, hey, I'll take a shot on it. I'll make an offer for 50. They accepted it, so I sourced like 150 of these sweatshirts for $50. That is the power of liquidation arbitrage, and that's why I recommend if you plan on scaling a reselling business up, don't get me wrong, I love the coupon arbitrage, I love the cashback arbitrage, because there are super easy ways for beginners to get into the process, right? But that said, if you plan on scaling up, if you want to take a reselling business seriously, you should really look into liquidation palettes across all the liquidation sites, because there's great deals on there, and there's great margins to be made if you can make offers, purchase them obviously for super cheap, and then list them and be patient, list high like we've talked about before. So I netted 36 bucks on this one. That practically right there almost makes minus $14 the money that I spent on the liquidation palette back already, and then I literally have 149 other ones to sell. Obviously I've sold a bunch of them already, but you get the picture. So phenomenal buy. At the time when I listed them, I was literally thinking like, shit, like these are never gonna sell, but they've been slowly selling, and eventually I plan on obviously selling out of them, so it looks like it's obviously a good buy. Very next one, an NBA Denver Nuggets sweatshirt, same palette. Sold this one for 25 bucks, ended up netting $20 after fees on Poshmark. These black boots were from the liquidation palette where I actually sourced a bunch of shoes. So these I sold for 28 bucks, which was a little bit of a lowball offer, same exact guy like we talked about. Ended up netting $15.29, so I still doubled my money because each shoe in that palette, I think, was like $5 or I think it was like $7, excuse me. So ended up more than doubling my money on these. It was a lowball offer, but I still made money. The next one is a fashion watch. So this one is actually, it looks like a high quality watch, and I could have sold it for a lot more, but I ended up just taking an offer, or excuse me, I actually made an offer. As you see up on the screen, it says less your shipping discount of $7.11. So it looks like someone maybe liked it, and then I decided to put an offer out for like free shipping and then like a low offer just to kind of turn over some inventory, because like I said, I'm trying to make some space here. So I believe I sourced this for like literally like $1 or $2 on a coupon website, or it might have been a cashback website, but regardless, it was super cheap. I know I paid like $1 or $2 max for this. It looks like a high quality watch. I had it listed for like 50 for a while, probably went a little bit low and a little bit crazy the other day during a closet clear out. But regardless, I made an offer. This sold, and I ended up making money on it. So I sold it for 15, ended up making $4.89 after the discount. Not the best sale in the world, but hey, I made money and I made some space for other inventory. The next one is a scarf or a bandeau or whatever you call it. Sold this one for $10, ended up netting $7 after fees. So now we're going to move on to Mercari, and we'll go through these fast. Here's an example of the reusable blankets I was talking about. Sold a bunch of these. I have another one as the next example, excuse me, and I also showed you an example from Poshmark, but these have been flipping like candy, so if you see these, source these, okay? So I sold these, it looks like for $19. After fees, I ended up netting $14.11. The next example, I ended up selling these for $11, so a little bit less, but I still ended up netting $5.65. I got these on a coupon website for like 50 cents a piece or like $1 a piece. That's why I sourced 10 of them. Looking back, I wish I sourced more. This one right here is a diffuser. Sold this one for 25 bucks. Ended up netting $17.51 after fees. The next one is like an arm blaster for fitness. I ended up selling this used because I sourced it for myself to actually use when I actually lift. Didn't really like it. It didn't feel right. It kind of like pushed my arms out. Didn't feel like it was isolating my biceps at all. Sold this to somebody for $14 as a used product. So I didn't source this anywhere. I'm just telling you that. Obviously, I didn't get this on a coupon. Didn't source it on cashback. Didn't source it on liquidation. I ended up using this myself. Bought it on Amazon for myself. And then obviously decided I didn't like it, so I sold it back, okay? Made $7.61, ended up selling it for 14 bucks. This one right here, and you can tell I didn't set this up, otherwise I wouldn't have put that fitness arm blaster in there, but you know, there you go. So this rear view backup camera, got this on a cashback website. I didn't get full cash back for this, but knowing because I sold this in the past, I sold like 2 of these like 2 months ago. I saw it on another cashback website. I don't remember if it was Extreme Rebate or if it was Huns on Vines or one of those. But I sold this in the past for like 40 or 50 bucks. So I knew that I could sell this again for 40 or 50 bucks. The margin on this camera and other stuff like this and electronics on Mercari tends to be pretty high. So this is another great buy. If you see this backup camera on a cashback site, source it. I think I paid $5 or $10 for this, so it wasn't a full cash back. I ended up buying it for like, I think like 40 or 50 bucks retail on Amazon. Got like 30 or like 45 bucks back. So obviously I ended up paying 5 or 10 after the cash back, but then I sold it for 41 on Mercari. And like I said, I knew that I could do that because I've done it in the past before. So sometimes I like to take shots on other products like that and actually pay for cashback products or coupon products a little bit more if I feel like I can sell them for a discount. And to touch on that diffuser, I think I sourced that diffuser for like 5 bucks as well, knowing that I could probably flip that because the retail value is high, okay? So I sold this one for 41, ended up netting 31.91. So I probably made, 25 to 20 bucks on that, or 20 to 25 bucks on that, depending on how much I paid for it on the cashback site. Next one, I sourced this on a coupon site. So I got a AAA safety kit thing, ended up selling this for 14 bucks, ended up netting a $7.61 profit, or $7.61 profit. Whoa, a lot of talking. Another example of a cooler backpack that I sold, like I said, from my private label inventory, sold this one for 13 bucks. I'm just trying to liquidate all that stuff and get it out of here so I have space. Ended up making $7.41 after fees. The next one was an example of a magnetic dry erase label stickers for like whiteboards or refrigerators. A lot of demand on these, but nobody ever ended up pulling the trigger. I think I accumulated like 12 likes on a Mercari and like 5 or 6 likes on Poshmark, but nobody ever pulled the trigger, so I made an offer on them a little bit lower, but because they were so small and the fee was so small, I still ended up netting $5.11, sold them for $9. Then the last two, here's another example of a sweatshirt. Looks like I made a low ball offer on this. Sold it for 25 bucks of this New Orleans Jazz sweatshirt, right? So retro New Orleans Jazz. I don't know why someone would buy this, but they did. $25, ended up making $17.51 on this. So I'm already netting like $30 or $40 just in these examples right here off that pallet, and I have 100 or 120 or so other ones left to sell because I've probably sold like 20 of them already, but I don't want to add all that up right now. So still a great sell right here. I ended up netting $17.51. And finally, the last one is an electric fly swatter thing. I guess you catch them in there and electrocutes them. Looks pretty cool to me. Sold it for 16 bucks, ended up netting $9.41.